really build wealth on your own? Hi, my name's Anthony Peluso, CEO and founder of Wealth for Life and Australian property expert. And the question I get asked constantly by our clients, and the question that I've even posed myself many, many times in the past is, can you really build wealth on your own? Now, based on my own personal experience and having a look at the approach that our clients take, the answer is no. Now, why do I say that? Well, first of all, look at anyone that's experienced amazing success in any field of life, okay? In any chosen industry, right? Whether it be a tennis player, whether it be a footballer, soccer player, musician, artists, they've done it so with a great team of people around them. And if you study the wealthiest people in the world, you will find that they've amassed their fortune, and along the way, they've done one thing that better than anybody else. They've learned how to work with people and learned how to build a really good team of people around them, okay? Because the reality is this, all of us have a certain amount of time per day. I don't care who you are, young, old, short, small, wealthy, poor, rich, broke, you name it, right? All of us, even the wealthiest people, have understood this, and it's one of the reasons why they are wealthy. You've got to leverage your time, okay? Your greatest asset is not money, it is time. Okay, how do you duplicate yourself? How do you place yourself in more than one place at the same time? Okay, so the most amazing thing that you need to understand, or the key thing, it's not an amazing thing, the key thing you really need to understand is, how do you leverage yourself? How do you leverage your time? Okay, because for most of you out there, you're already time poor. Okay, but you've made enough time to have a look at this video, which I'm grateful for and thank you. But for a lot of you, you're very, very time poor. Okay, you're either working for someone else or you're running your own show. You've got a family, wife and kids to look after. You've got a social life that you need to handle. You've got to take care of yourself, your family, your friends, your group, your health, right? So there's all these things that we need to do each day in life, right? And then you've got to try and fit in, hopefully 8 hours worth of sleep as well, right? So when you get to it, you usually find that most people are actually very time poor, okay? So if you're looking to build wealth on your own, my experience is that if you want to do it on your own, it'll take forever and you won't get where you need to get to. And more importantly, you probably don't have the expertise or experience to do it, okay? Time will always be your greatest enemy. And one thing I've done really, really well is to make time my greatest friend. How do I do that? I delegate, I leverage my time, I employ people so I can get more things done. I get a lot done in the same amount of time that others have, okay? So time will usually be the thing that will hold you back to creating wealth on your own, okay? You just won't have enough time because life isn't designed for you to have enough time, unfortunately, okay? So how do you flip that around? How do you use it to your advantage, okay? $300,000 in 14 months. $200,000 passive income for the rest of your life when you stop working. $200,000 in capital growth over a 2-year period. These are some of the results that our clients have achieved over the last 12 months. My name's Anthony Peluso, CEO and founder of Wealth for Life. We're going to be running some special events in a city near you over the coming weeks called An Evening with Wealth for Life. Go onto our website or call us on 1300 793 8877 and make a time to book in and come to one of these events. You need to work with people. If you look at the richest people in Australia, right, because we're coming at you from Australia, any part of the world really, again, you'll see that they've learned to leverage time and get other people to do things for them so they can get to where they want to get to faster in any industry. So when it comes to building wealth, what are some of the things that you need to take into account, okay? Number one is your goal setting and financial planning, okay? I've said this before, I'll say it again, you need to know where you want to end up and what you want to achieve, okay? Without that, do not get started, okay? Because you have no idea where you're going to go. And more importantly, you won't even know when you get there, all right? So have the end in mind and then work backwards into present time. And if you know what you're doing, if you know how to work that out, you'll know what you need to do in between. But for a lot of people, they won't know what to do, okay? So let's take real estate, okay? If you want to buy one or two properties, one or two pieces of real estate for investment purposes to help you create wealth, you're not going to be able to, you're not going to achieve wealth by taking that approach. Because creating wealth is not just about an asset class, okay? It's to do with a lot more than just finding, a piece of real estate, holding on to it, adding value to it, and then, building wealth out of it. The first thing you need to do is set the right goals and do some very clever financial planning, okay? You want to set an investment strategy. You want to put an investment strategy in place so you have an end goal, a starting position, an end goal, and you know what to do in between, okay? How do you start? How do you hold it? And how do you exit, okay? Because for a lot of people, they haven't even thought about how to exit their investment strategy, okay? And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to sell off your assets, okay? That's not what I mean by exit, but how do you actually create freedom, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's freedom that we're after. It's not even financial freedom, it's actually freedom, okay? The ability to do what you want, when you want, from the time you wake up to when you go to bed at night, do what you want, how you want, and not hurt anybody, okay? That's a very good definition of success, okay? So make sure you have a start, an end, and what to do in between. So one of the things I would say is you need to put a really good team of people around you, what we call our mastermind team. Because if we're looking to build wealth, we need to do research, okay? We need to get educated. And again, if you're working 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, you're probably not going to have the time to do the kind of research that you need to do, okay? So work with companies that have done the research, work with people that have already done or have already achieved what you want to achieve. It's one of the most simplest ways to create wealth. Duplicate others, success leaves clues, as they say, right? So follow the trail, follow the footsteps of people that have come before you, okay? So have a really good mastermind team, right, that can help you with research and education, because you're going to have to get some level of knowledge in the particular field that you want to be successful in. And I don't care what that field is, okay? You're going to have some level of knowledge that gives you enough information for you to take action, okay? And hold that right level of responsibility that you need to have, right? Or else how are you going to actually control the outcome, all right? So research and education is very important, okay? Number 2, finance, okay? Because this is the game of finance. Wealth creation is a game of finance, okay? You need to have financiers, banks, mortgage brokers, finance strategists, okay? The game of wealth is created with a financial platform, okay? At the end of the day, it's all about money, it's all about finance, okay? So in today's current lending markets, it's, there are so many changes. I say to people, if you're going to go into a bank and try and get finance yourself, good luck, because you don't know what you're in for, okay? Most people, they get told by the teller or the lady at the reception over the teller, oh yeah, come in, we'll give you a home loan, no problem at all, come and see us. If you're not prepared and if you don't know what bank's lending criteria is and you're not prepared, you'll probably get declined, okay? And it doesn't feel good when people say no to you in any area of life, believe me, right? So very, very important that you deal with people that give you the best opportunity to get finance, okay? And a great mortgage broker or finance strategist will look after you and set a strategy in place, not just for your first purchase, but for the next 5, 10, 15 years, okay? And that's really important to understand, because you don't want to just get one asset class or one investment property, right? Because you're not going to build a lot of wealth. Sorry, I just turned my phone off. You're not going to build a lot of wealth with one investment property. You need to build an entire wealth creation strategy, okay, an entire portfolio. Something else that you're going to have on your team, right, or someone else, is a great accountant, one that can structure your affairs when it comes to taxation and business and forward planning. Now, here's the question I'll ask you. If you want to know whether you've got the right accountant or the right guy on your team, ask yourself this question. Are you still paying your top marginal tax rate? Okay? So are you still paying the maximum tax that you need to pay based on the income that you're on? If you are, you have the wrong accountant on your team. Because you don't even need to purchase anything to be able to structure, minimize legally your tax position. Your accountant should be giving you this advice even before you come and see us. Okay, so if you're paying your top marginal tax rate right now, I promise you don't have the right accountant. You don't have the right person on your team. Okay, you're paying more tax than you legally need to. Okay, talking about legally, having a good legal team, solicitor or a lawyer, right? When you're building wealth, you want to protect your wealth. Okay, there's nothing worse than busting your backside creating wealth, building a sizable portfolio, and then having someone attack it or take it away from you, okay? So make sure you know how to protect your assets. Too many people go in to creating wealth without even thinking about the purchasing entities, whether it be you start to purchase assets in your own name, tenants in common through the aid of a company, a trust structure of some sort, other purchasing entities like self-managed super funds, individual names. There's so many different purchasing entities. Each one of them have a benefit and a disadvantage, right? A plus and a minus. So you need to understand the benefits and the disadvantages of each of those purchasing entities. Because the thing with asset allocation, and once you've purchased an asset, it's very expensive to change purchasing entities, okay? You're going to have to figure out things like stamp duty, you're going to be up for capital gains tax, so you want to get it right from the start, okay? And make sure your assets are protected, especially if you've got a family and you're looking to pass on that wealth to your children, to family members, right? You want to make sure that that's done correctly. I spent a lot of time getting this right when I first started, okay? A lot of time. Putting powers of attorneys in place, wills, even people that are going to look after your family when you move on, right? You've got to do the planning up front, or else you go too far down the track to realize, oh shit, I forgot the most important things, and you can't go backwards. It becomes very expensive to go backwards, okay? That's what I've realized from my journey. So get your purchasing entities correct and get your legal team and your tax advisors correct. Those guys there, if you've got the right people with you, forget about what they charge you. You're going to have to pay a fee. Think about not what they charge you, but what you lose, what you're paying without their aid, without their advice. My advisors, they're not cheap, but they make me and save me more money than I pay them, believe me, okay? So if somebody charges you $1,000 but that makes you $10,000, I think you've got a good deal, if you know what I mean, right? So don't think of the cost of using these people. Think of the cost of not using these people on your team, okay? The importance of having a one-on-one consultation with one of our advisors. Number one, you want to know how to pay off the mortgage on your home in the fastest possible way. How about understanding and learning how you can become debt-free forever? Imagine paying less tax and having more money going to your pay packet every fortnight. What about securing your financial future in your retirement so you never have to worry and stress about money ever again? These are the things that we go through with you in a one-on-one consultation. Some of the results that we've achieved for our clients by sitting down with us one-on-one, we had one couple who created $300,000 in 14 months. We had another gentleman who's gone on to amass a fortune in real estate that's going to pay him $200,000 per annum for the rest of his life when he stops working. These are just some of the things that come out by sitting down with our advisors in a one-on-one consultation. Get your goal planning and you get your financial planning and your goal setting right in 2019. Take advantage of the tremendous opportunities that exist in the Australian property market right now. Call 1300 793 8877 or visit wealthforlife.com.au and book an appointment in with one of our investment advisors to get your money right in 2019. Asset selection. So when you're looking to build wealth, you need to select the right assets. Now, this is the thing I tell people all the time. If we look at real estate, not every bit of real estate is A-grade real estate, investment grade real estate. People think they'll just buy a property somewhere based on some advice from someone, usually a family or friend or an acquaintance, a work colleague, a neighbor, someone they meet at a coffee shop. make sure you're buying the right asset class, okay? Not every piece of real estate, if we're talking real estate, is going to be something that helps you build wealth. You could be buying a liability. You could be buying something that doesn't grow in value, that doesn't cash flow you the way it goes, the way it should, that takes up too much of your time. And after a period of time, you'll start to see the asset isn't performing the way it needs to. Okay. My general rule is I don't care what the market's doing, right? If your asset hasn't grown in value within the first 2 years, you've probably bought the wrong type of asset, okay? You don't need to be waiting more than 2 years for your asset to appreciate, okay? And that's just one of the things you need to consider. So if you get the wrong asset class or the right, let's say the wrong property, you could be putting your financial strategy or your financial freedom backwards quite somewhat, okay? Again, I've done this, so I'm talking from experience. Clients that have come to us with a portfolio that isn't really forwarding their goals, right, or helping them achieve freedom. So we've had to restructure their portfolios quite significantly, get rid of the bad real estate and put the good real estate in there, okay? So not all property is the right property. So you need to understand the difference between great real estate and not so great real estate, okay? Risk management, okay? Every investment strategy needs to have a risk management strategy in place, okay? What do I mean by that? Okay, let's look at interest rates, okay? What are some of the fears that people have around building wealth or starting an investment strategy? What happens? What do you do if interest rates go up, okay? And we have a solution for that. What do you do if you can't find a tenant to look after your property? Again, there's some solutions and risk management strategies we put in place. What do you do if you lose your job? Again, we handle that. What do you do if you pass on? You know, thank God that hopefully, you know, nobody watching this does, but you need to put things like this in place, right? What do you do if you've bought the wrong asset class? How do you restructure your affairs? Okay? So these are all things that you need to plan for before you get started, okay? So what's the saying? You plan for the best, expect the worst, right? So risk management is a very important layer, and we spend a lot of time, our advisors spend a lot of time with our clients making sure we've got the right level of risk management in place. One, it protects your portfolio. Two, you sleep comfortably at night. And if the unforeseen does take place, we've got it handled, okay? Adding value to your portfolio, learning how to manufacture growth without waiting for the market to do it. Okay? Again, these are other things you need to take into consideration. If you're thinking of doing this on your own or creating wealth on your own, you need to understand how to manufacture growth without waiting for the market to do it. How do you add value to your portfolio? How do you get more rent than what the rest of the market is getting? Okay? How do you buy the right type of property so you get consistent growth irrespective of what the economy is doing? Okay? Because if you have to panic every time interest rates go up, right? Your finance structure hasn't been done correctly, okay? If tenants feel the squeeze every time you raise rents, you've probably got the wrong tenants in there, okay? So make sure that you know how to add value to your portfolio, or you're going to be at effect of the market at all times, okay? And you really don't want to be at effect of anything, okay? You want to be able to cause the outcome, control the outcome, which leads me to property management. The headache that most investors never see coming is the bugbear is property management, okay? I've got a ton of experience in this space, and this is what I ask all of you guys to have a look at when you're finding tenants for your property. Do you know the difference between a good property manager and a bad property manager? Because for a lot of you, the way you select a property manager, you'll select whoever can get you or promise you the highest rent, the cheapest fees, and probably the one that's closest to you or your investment property, okay? That's the wrong criteria to base your selection of a property manager, okay? So you need to understand the difference between a good property manager or a bad property manager. Because let me see if this sounds like you or if you've heard of these horror stories, right? You know, people trashing your real estate, your property, tenants not paying on time and not paying in full, tenants leaving, too much admin, too much maintenance on your property. Having to maintain your property can be very expensive if you've got to do lots of maintenance works. And just constantly getting emails and phone calls from your property manager, okay? They're indicators that you got the wrong property manager, okay? A great property manager should be able to create competition for your property. So have many people looking at your property at any given time. A great property manager knows how to structure leases to favor you and favor the most amount of people getting through your property at any given time. I'll give you a tip. There's a certain time of the year that you want to have your properties become vacant, or you never want them vacant, but your leases to end. And there's a certain time of the year that you never want your leases to end, especially if you have to replace your tenant, okay? You want a property manager that increases your rent every year and doesn't give you the excuse that this is what the market is doing, and based on our research and recommendation, we believe that you should keep your rent the way it is. I say to the property manager, hey, Mr. Property Manager, how about you tell the rest of the world to keep their expenses down as well? Because you know what? The cost of living is increasing every year. My rents, my income needs to increase at least with the cost of living, if not a hell of a lot more, okay? So we really know how to pull the right rents and higher rents than any other property management team out there, okay? Because there's a difference with our approach to property management, okay? And I'll give you a tip. Your property manager you want your property manager to be an investor, okay? If you've got a property manager that's an investor, all of a sudden they can see the world through your eyes, okay? That's one of the most important tips I'll give you when creating wealth and looking at property management as part of your team. You want a property management team that are a set of investors, okay? So you need to understand the difference between good property management and bad property management, okay? Ongoing portfolio management, okay? There's always going to be changes to your wealth creation strategy, okay? Your goal hopefully doesn't change, but the plan, the road we take to get there sometimes may change, okay? You may find yourself, in a different job. Your income may go up or fluctuate. You may have to relocate for employment purposes. You may have an addition or two come into the family, right? So there's many things you need to take into account. So you need to have a strategy that can plan and take those things into account. Again, this kind of falls under a risk management approach. What if I lose my job? What if I go interstate? What if I separate? If I go from 2 incomes to 1 income because we're now starting a family? How does that affect your ability to borrow? Now, if you address that at the start, it doesn't affect you at all, okay? So ongoing portfolio management is very important, and being able to predict the changes ahead. And this is one of the things that sets apart, the real wealth creators from just property investors, okay? You don't want to be a property investor, you want to be a wealth creator, okay? But to do that, you need to be able to predict the future, okay? And the best way to predict the future is having a look at the past and careful planning in present time, okay? Dealing with builders, again, another bugbear for a lot of people, okay? You need to understand the difference between great builders and average builders. And let me tell you, there are not a lot of great builders out there. This is from my own personal experience. Most builders out there, I would run away from, okay? Especially the ones that, a lot of us just look at a builder, we just always go for the cheapest price, okay? And builders are very clever. They dangle the carrot of giving you the cheapest price. You don't read the terms and conditions, right? Or the terms and conditions at the bottom of their quotes. And you only find out what you're really paying for your house or for any construction after you've signed the contract, okay? When it's too late, okay? So I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 builders out there are shonky. You want to run away from them. Their quality is atrocious. So you need to understand the difference between a good builder and a bad builder. Because a good builder, for starters, everybody has a great display home, okay? Yeah, they'll take you to a display suite, display home, and everything looks great in a display home. Big deal. Number 1, if you're looking for a builder, go look at their work 5 years, 10 years after they've constructed the property. That'll tell you how great they are. Because you've got to look at a builder not just when they build your home, but the relationship you need to maintain with them after they've built your home. Okay? So, Can you really build wealth on your own? Okay, if you can handle all of those things we've just covered right now, good luck to you. The reality is this, guys, if you're working 9 to 5 or you're time poor, you need a great team of people around you, okay? And again, if you look at any industry or just anyone that you see as successful in life, in any field, right? Dig deep enough and you'll find that they have a great team of people around them, because we can't do it all on our own. There isn't enough time in the day to do it all on our own. And really, the last thing you want is have to wait till you're 70 to experience wealth, okay? Because that's an indicator that you've tried to do everything on your own and usually made mistakes and done it the wrong way, okay? Leverage your time by using people, great people, experts, to help you get where you want to get to faster. All right. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of Ask Anthony. Thank you so much for your questions and your feedback. We absolutely love it. I really hope you guys get a lot of tips out of this. We'd love to see you in our office on 1300 793 877 is how you can contact us by phone, or go to wealthforlife.com.au. We'd love to work with you. Have a talk to some of our clients, right? Get their experience of working with us, right? And what we've been able to help them achieve, all right? So have a great week, and until next time, happy investing.